through. We got some Raspberry Pi 5s, and then the Supreme team, and had come out with a really good build with RetroPie that had, the desktop, and it had all kinds of cool stuff. And then, of course, I grabbed it and then downloaded it and did a whole bunch of extra stuff. So I had installed some Mugen games, and I installed the Wine 64, Box 64. So I was installing some PC games. Here's some more PC games. Then Taito X games, which are all really cool. Tried out the Nintendo 3DS. But the big thing was I made a video with the Triforce versions of Mario Kart GP arcade version, and showed how sluggish and slow it ran and stuff. You guys can go check this out if you want to. See, it was 11 months ago. And then I came across a guy that had a French guy had built an amazing Botticera build. So I'm gonna run you over here without making you sick. And this Botticera build, when I was looking at it, had a copy of F-Zero, and it says GX, and I was like, oh, it's GX, but when you play it, it's not the GX version, it's the arcade AX version. And I was like, holy crap, how did he get this? The only worry I've ever seen is the Dolphin WX fork, which is an x86 only, to play on a PC game. Windows, x86, they don't make an ARM, or they don't make an ARM version, they don't make any versions whatsoever. As you can see, this is the AX, this is the arcade version. You have to, so, and it even shows the sit down and all that. So I'm like, okay, if he's got this to work on a Linux-based Botticera build, here's where you can pick your race or time attack, then, how do we get that program to run properly? And so I was kind of researching into that. But the other thing is since this build is, or this ROM is on here and it's in the actual GameCube folder, it has to be, if you hold down A, it'll pop up here and show you that it's actually using the Dolphin emulator, not the the version, not the Libretto version, but the actual Dolphin. So I'm like, okay, cool. So there's got to be some configurations for that and stuff. So I grabbed the file, and I grabbed the latest version of and I started messaging Kyodaiken. Let me show you his, if you guys know how to. So here's Kyodaiken. He has a website. He does a lot of cool videos about a lot of various things, but there's a lot of Raspberry Pi here recently, and he is just making great progress on both. He had originally worked on hardcore on PlayStation 2 and got lots of that running, so he recently has been doing a lot of Dolphin. So I was reaching out to him on his Patreon and say, hey, there's Patreon, what can we do to make one of these arcade versions of Mario Kart GP and GP2 and maybe even the F-Zero AX. So anyway, the other person that made this Botticera build, this is a Odroid H3 mini little PC, or a single board computer, so it runs great on there. So I'll show you, this person's called the Mini Cake TV. And just so you know, when you start listening to stuff, he's French, so you're not going to be able to understand it unless you can speak French. So, but he has some really badass things. He already got Botticera with PlayStation 4 emulation built into it, and how to install it. He tells you what to copy and paste as long as you understand Linux and commands and stuff like that. Anyway, in saying all that, I'm making this video to show you that I got the AX game to work, the F-Zero to work over here, and I've got the GP2 alright, so cool. So as you can see, I've got it on the desktop because I was working with where the files are located and stuff. So I'm only going to show it to you from here, but it does work outside in the regular RetroPie. So what I'm going to do is load up the Dolphin emulator here, and then I think this is still, I'm going to see if this is, I don't have sound on this, but I didn't think it would matter. But I just want to show you that this is, not only does it run at full speed, but it's the AX version. It is the, let's see, I don't know if I can configure my controller for this. Oh, it's, yeah, okay. Anyway, as you can see, the AX version. So, I'm going to hit escape and X out here, and I was like, cool, you know, that's working. Now, I've got the GP, not that you can see very well here, but the GP one, I get unknown DVD command, 4745 blah blah blah. And you can say ignore this, but it never loads. But in turn, exact same file. Oh yeah, before. So you can see that it tries to launch or whatever, but over here, so I'm still going to rotate over here. Just 1 second. Over here on this, I'm going to show you that over here there is a file that's called ggpe01.s01. It's a save state. What it is, it's a save state for these two games that have the appropriate settings, so to speak, to appropriate settings to have, I guess, for it to load correctly. Like, I'll show you on the Botasair build in a minute. But in the meantime, I'm going to show you that the section is in here. So if I right click and go to the properties of this, there's a the thing that pops up here is ggpe01. There's some sort of, you know, there's settings in here and stuff. And so if I can figure out what I need to do to make that function correctly in here, or get that that save state copied over, and where I can load the save state in this environment, then we should be able to get it to work over here, the GP, instead of having the error code that I get where it says, you know, unknown DVD, because these arcade versions of these actually had a GameCube disc that was an arcade version in there. So I said, okay, F4, close that, close that. So what I'll show you over here is that if you try to play, probably should have widescreen that, but alright, if we go to different folder over here that is not in the menu. Why can I not find? There we go. Sorry, I must have passed right by. Triforce. So now we have, I put that folder in there, but we got GP1 and 2, right? GP1, when you load it, if you were to leave it in the boot section here, when it first shows Nintendo, if you leave it here, it'll eventually crash and not work. But what I'm going to do is hit the save state load, and you'll see it reset that thing, and now it's ready to go. And so I insert a coin. And my controls are good to go. Hit no. Yes. There we go. Oh, yeah, I have to hit the gas pedal, which is the trigger. Right trigger. Alright. I assure you, I've tried to hit down, but it doesn't go. Oh, yeah. RGR Retro Gaming. Alright, we're ready. Whatever. So we want Grand Prix. Now, granted, this little computer is way more powerful than a Raspberry Pi, but technically the F-Zero game is harder to emulate, and it works perfect over here on the Raspberry Pi. So this Odroid 3 so here we go. Works perfect, works great, wonderful, but only because I have that load state. I'm gonna X out here. And then, yeah, so over here, I'm trying to figure out where to put that save file so that I can load it. As far as I can tell, I just don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see a lot of this because I'm not zooming into the screen and whatnot. But supposedly there's a save state folder here that's .local share dolphin-emu save states, and I have put it in there, but I still can't get it to or it's just that maybe I don't know what the hotkey is for save states. But so that's where it stands. I'm trying to figure out that, but I do have where you're in the RetroPie menu and you can straight up just select the F-Zero game from the arcade and play it. It's super cool.